Hello, everyone. Today we are here with Mama Midnight.
Hello.
Is there anything you would like to say before we get started?
Only that it's pleasant to be here, and thank you for interviewing me.
It's my pleasure. We have narrator, writer, and artist questions for you. We will start with the narrator questions.
Awesome.
And the first question, how did you come up with your channel name?
My channel name was actually based off of a game that the kids in the neighborhood and I would play whenever I was younger. And whenever I first moved out to California, which was 7 years ago, the neighborhood kids and I would basically play house and whatnot, but we called that game Mama Midnight. And that was just how we would play pretend, and every time we would go outside and hang out, we'd just be like, "Oh, you want to play Mama Midnight?" And that's where the name comes from, and it's kind of got some fond memories for me.
Yeah. How did your persona come to be?
My persona came to be because my character in the game was Mama Midnight, and the character was supposed to be this motherly figure, and she was supposed to be very proper and polite, and her mannerisms were very Victorian-esque and nothing that I was at the time. And I joined this roleplay group under the encouragement of my friends on DeviantArt, back whenever I would go on there a lot more frequently, called Drake Academy, and I had to have a character to go into the group with, rather. So I just fleshed out the character, and she went through a bunch of redesigns, but the character is now the one you see today, which is the black cat with the purple eyes, purple dress, and the crescent moon necklace.
Do you have any future plans for your channel?
I have been putting off narrations of any sort for a bit, but just yesterday I posted up a comic dub, and I will be going more into those and starting to put more creepypastas back onto my channel because I really miss doing that work. And I just thought it would be nice to start getting into that again. So, yeah.
How has narrating changed you?
Narrating has changed me personally because it's made me a better actor. It's made me sort of more professional with my work and more critical of trying to do a good job, and also like reminding myself to have fun with what I'm doing, even if sometimes the subject matter of the stories might not be all too pleasant. Just allowing myself to become the character and just have fun with it in that way.
How has narrating changed your life?
Narrating has changed my life because I've gotten to meet a lot of lovely people like yourself and many, many other narrators from all across the globe. Just recently, because I'm German by nationality and it's also my second language, I got to meet and talk with some narrators in Germany who are big fans of Miyuji. And it was nice to see how just a subgenre of horror united everybody, and I really, really love that.
Why did you start narrating?
I started narrating originally because my mom thought that have this voice that is good for reading things, and I used to read children's stories to the elementary schoolers in the library, which is in the school located across from my house. And as time went on, I thought that it would be cool to try out my voice work while I was modding for Cry, and because he was such a big inspiration for me going into it, that I thought that I might try it out myself, and then I uploaded some more for the music competition, just so that way I'd have more videos out and people could see my work more. And just continue to enjoy myself and learn more and be able to become a better actress, rather, and just improve.
What creepypasta do you want to narrate, but are having trouble doing so?
The creepypasta I would like to narrate, but I am having trouble doing so, is I would love to narrate Fenter Woods, which is my favorite creepypasta. I just have not had the time. But whenever I finally find the time and am able to find a nice group of voice actors who would be willing to work on it with me, then I would love to record it.
Which creepypasta has made an impact on your life?
I think the two creepypastas that have made an impact on my life are Fenter Woods and Clockwork. And so the latter, being Clockwork, I will say is not. The writing is not the best, but I drew fan art of Clockwork and the Blue Man, and that was how I first got to talk with Mr. Creepypasta, is because he saw my fan art. After I drew some more, he eventually followed me on Tumblr, and that's how I got to know him. So I felt that that story has a particular importance to me. As for Fenter Woods, my first full, complete monster I made in special effects makeup, which is a passion of mine, and what I hope to go into a future career with, was the Wendigo Ghoul beast from Fenter Woods. And I turned my friend Keith, who's an actor up here in California, into the beastie, and he got to roam around and scare me, which was fun. And I love both of those stories for those reasons, just because you've got those personal connections to them.
What creepypasta will you not narrate?
Laughing Jack. Laughing Jack, both particularly the origin story and the second one, mostly because they show harm to children, violence to children, which I'm not a fan of in the slightest, and I feel like narrating it, just, I wouldn't feel comfortable narrating anything of the sort, really. Everything else, I'll have to look over it because there's a lot of tales, of course, but that's the story, or rather series of stories, that immediately springs to mind.
The next set of questions is to you as a writer.
Lovely.
Which creepypasta do you wish you had been the one to write?
Ooh. No, that's a big one. I think that I would have loved to have written the name is leaving my mind all of a sudden. But I would have loved to have been the one to write obsessive compulsive. Either that or autopilot, because those are both tales that have twist endings. They really mess with your head, and there was a certain level of brilliance that I feel went into them, because, and it might have just been me originally reading them whenever I was younger, being like, oh, this is so cool, but I find that those stories, they were the first stories that genuinely scared me, because it was but in both of those stories, it was, this could happen to anybody, and anybody could be the protagonist of those stories, etc. So yeah, it kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Who are your favorite creepypasta writers?
Whew. I love Gold Coin's work, most assuredly. I also like Jonathan Black's work. Otherwise, I can't think of any names, but a lot of the things I've read are really lovely. And if they aren't up to par yet, just like with a little bit of tweaking, like I think that if an author writes it, then they have a lot more bravery than I, because you're willing to post your stories onto the internet, and I think that that's awesome because you're getting to show little bits of yourself in your work. Yeah.
Where do you get your inspiration?
From the previous stories I mentioned, obsessive compulsive and autopilot, the stories that I've written, be it the Dunes and Talks with Her Hands, it's this sort of unsuspecting, this could happen to anyone. And it's not just a creature, really. It's sort of, we are our own creatures and we feed into our own habits. And I like the whole, that there's a sense of a dark side to humanity and everybody's flawed. And I kind of like that with creepypasta stories instead of having a sort of mythical beast, although that is fun to read from time to time.
How has writing changed you?
Writing has changed me because I read more of other people's work, and it leads me to more inspiration for my own, be it the poetry that I write or the tales. And it makes me strive to become more creative and better myself and improve.
How has writing changed your life?
Writing has changed my life because I was very nervous whenever I first posted my own creepypastas, and I thought that, oh my, all this negative criticism I'm going to receive. But it wasn't like that at all. People actually really, really liked my work. Well, those of you who have heard of it. But for those who have heard / read my tales, I got to know them. They gave me constructive criticism, and they shared with me bits of their knowledge. And it's changed my life in those ways because I feel that without those occurrences, I wouldn't be the same person I am.
Why did you start writing?
I started writing because I really wanted to try and write off of ideas that people hadn't heard before, or things that were horrifying but I hadn't seen anybody turn into a tale. And I think that just apologies, it's just yeah. Sorry, I was about to go off on a tangent and I just
Do you want to elaborate more, or do you want to go on to the next question?
I'm fine with going off to the next question. Apologies.
No worries. Okay. Which creepypasta are you most proud of writing?
The creepypasta I am most proud of writing is Talks with Her Hands. And Talks with Her Hands was my own original idea. The Dunes was based off of a real life occurrence, and it's not that the idea of based off of a true story is not cool, but I like, and I'm also slightly terrified by the things that come out of my own hand. And I'm proud that for my first creepypasta, people seem to really enjoy it.
What is the earliest story you remember writing?
Earliest story I remember writing. Back whenever I had a Facebook account a long, long time ago. The first creepypasta or I wrote was something about creatures who would live under the cracks in your door. And for me, that jump-started my whole wanting to write creepypastas. But as for earliest story I've ever written, I just remember writing for classes, specifically poetry. My teachers were always very happy that, man, I don't want to sound narcissistic, but like whenever I was younger, my teachers commented that it was nice to see that I put effort into detailing, trying to make things go together smoothly and rhyme, and I thought that that was kind of cool, and the positive criticism really got me into writing and to wanting to create more, because I think that any positive criticism you're going to get, be it small or large, really helps fuel your want to create.
What story are you currently working on?
The story I am currently working on is my character's origin story. And that is going to be entitled Mama Midnight, based off of the simple fact that it'll explain like where the motherly title came from and why my persona is a giant black cat and all that fun. Otherwise, I have no projects waiting in the way.
Where do you see yourself going with your writing career?
I feel that in other forms of artistry, I might excel more, but I think that writing is a lovely hobby of mine, and that even if it's just a hobby, I can always improve and write better and more terrifying in the case of creepypasta tales. And yeah.
The next set of questions are for you as an artist.
Awesome. So
when did you first get started in art?
I first got started in art whenever I was very young. My dad loves to draw and paint, and he was the one who originally encouraged me to draw and helped give me original pointers.
What kind of artwork do you produce?
The artwork that I'm known for being the creepypasta sprites, or narrator stuck, are digital, and they're supposed to be talk sprites of everybody's different personas, which is a project I've currently put on hold. But it's mostly digital work, occasionally some stuff on paper, but it's mostly just the digital work that I'm known for and befriended a lot of artists for.
What kind of medium and equipment do you use?
This is going to sound really silly, but I like to use plain old Microsoft Paint for great work because it's easily accessible. I can do it on any computer I have without the need to download any intense software. It can be something I do whenever I'm bored. It's just fun, really. Otherwise, if there's ever paper and a pencil in my hand, I will doodle on my papers nonstop. And I always think that it's nice to just doodle and get your creative juices flowing. And just absent-minded doodling is interesting because you always get to look down at your paper after and be like, okay, I don't know what I was on, but okay. And you just get to have fun with it.
Where do you get your inspiration?
I think I get my inspiration just from the different experiences I have, certain facial features that fascinate me. Like, I really like how detailed eyes are, so I often doodle them on my paper. I think that just the people I meet, and I really like drawing my friends. And I think just really anything that has a positive memory for me is an influence.
Are there any artists that influence your work?
Yes, the first artist I was a really big fan of was Shalone SK, on DeviantArt or Fur Affinity or whatever platform. Shalone's work featured her persona, Shalone, and I thought that her persona for being a cat was really, really cool. And I liked her style and her use of shading, and the fact that she could draw expressions really well. And I thought that would be really fun to get into that sort of work. And also, I really love Lucifer's work, Espromance or Shy's work, Penren or Renpen or Jill McLeod, however you know them, Chaotic Ghosts, etc., etc. All these lovely creepypasta artists are just such an awesome inspiration, and all their hard work and dedication, even if they're not mostly creepypasta anymore, or if they've done creepypasta work in the past, the fact that they just have so much effort that goes into their work and they always want to improve too makes me want to improve. And everything I'm saying right now is about improving. But I think that there's always room to grow and learn, be it as a person, as an artist, whatever it may be.
How has art changed you?
Art has changed me because I notice different things now. It might sound odd, but like I notice the curve of someone's nose or their cupid's bow, and I notice like the little wrinkles that their brow makes whenever they furrow them. And I notice certain postures that people make, and whenever somebody's arms cross, they're standoffish or uncomfortable and trying to protect themselves. And it's just different like cues I notice, and also just I guess it's just a different way of seeing the world, and I'm more fascinated by the little things now, I suppose. Yeah.
How has art changed your life?
Art has changed my life because some of the artists I mentioned before, oh man, I've gotten to meet and talk with all of them, and they're all so nice, and I've gotten to befriend them, and there's sort of this familial bond going on, and everybody's really, really nice to each other, and we all want each other to improve, and we're all each other's support system, and commenting just, oh man, how awesome your art looks and everything. And I just think that my life has been improved for the better because of these people.
When did you get interested in drawing creepypasta art?
I liked creepypasta art whenever I was going through and seeing some of Leading Heartworks or Maja or Korn, however it may be. Korn's art was just so cool, and it had all of these lovely poses, so well executed, and I thought that was just so neat, that you could capture something that was just kind of disturbing in such a neat way. And that sounds so weird, but I thought that I kind of want to do something that's a little bit oddly charming. And also Doll Creep on DeviantArt, their work also had that same sort of creepy vibe that I kind of wanted to input into my work. And so that those two artists specifically helped to lead me down the path of more creepypasta work, and just trying to make things look odd and more human and flawed in certain ways.
Which creepypasta character or persona do you enjoy drawing the most?
Oh dang. I think that the creepypasta character I enjoy drawing most is Clockwork, just because of the gashes and the fact that the story holds a lot of relevance to me. But persona-wise, I definitely love drawing my own. But I also love drawing Mr. Creepypasta's persona, and uh, just because of the narrator stack project, just basically any person I would like to draw, just any narrator persona that I can find, just because I think that would be cool just to have a whole project where everybody could see their own personas in a nice little banner thing. But yeah.
What art project are you currently working on?
The art project I'm currently working on is this lovely file labeled Thing, which is as simplistic, I swear I can speak, as it may sound. It's a bunch of pixel sprites of all of my friends, not their personas, but just everybody as they are, and also a Gemsona project, which is neither are really creepypasta related aside from some narrators inclusion, narrators characters or non-persona narrators inclusion into both of those projects, and just wanting to include everybody seems to be a common theme.
And we are actually on the last question for you.
Awesome. All right.
What is a fun fact about yourself?
It was mentioned a little bit prior, but I am a special effects makeup artist in training, and I love recreating different people's characters, personas, or taking inspiration off of different things and bringing that to life. So I can run around my house and be a monster one day, and be something nice and charming like a mermaid the next, and something horrifying, and so on and so forth. And I like that because it's kind of like the community in a way that it can be weird and creepy and odd in subject matter, and then other times it can just be nice and sweet, and there's a whole lot of creativity that goes into the process, and yeah. Yeah, I just think that it's a lovely other way to get my whole artistic vibes out and have fun.
Well, is there anything you would like to say before we wrap this up?
Just thank you again for interviewing me. It's always a pleasure talking to you. And thank you for anybody listening to this. If you've made it this far, congratulations. Aside from that, just I hope everybody has a lovely rest of, well, a lovely August, considering that'll be in 2 days. And just stay safe, have fun, do what you do, all that loveliness.
Well, it was definitely a pleasure interviewing you. Anybody who has not checked out her channel, make sure that you go check it out and subscribe and like and comment and show some love. And there are also a few other links in the description for you to check out. And I guess that is it. So again, thank you very much for joining me tonight. And bye, everybody.